Live. All right. Yeah, what's going on, guys? It's been a year and a half since I think my last video, because I was actually going through, I actually went through a spiritual awakening, and I'm not done yet. I'm still on my journey. Just growing each and every day. But I felt like I needed to come on here and finally share my story and tell you guys what life's been like on medication and stuff like that. So yeah, let's get right into it. But before I say anything, make sure you like, comment, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. But yeah, let's get into it. So it was last year, March of 2020, and it was, a normal day, I guess. I was just doing my thing, doing my routine, to just get my mind right, just keep my mind, body, and spirit right, up to date, things like that. And, I woke up and I just literally didn't know what I was doing. I woke up and I just started doing things. And I woke up out of bed really early. I think it was 4 in the morning. I actually, it was really early. And what happened was, when I got up, took a shower, did what I had to do, and then I walked out the house with a baseball bat. And the reason for that is because in my mind I thought I was a professional baseball player. And mind you, I think I've played baseball once in high school. I think, yeah, in high school. That was about it. But then I just don't know what took over me. It was like I was in a trance or something, and I walked out, and I walked to the park, and I just told myself I was gonna go practice. I had my baseball bat with me. I said I was gonna go practice, my routine, and because I was getting ready for a championship game in Las Vegas, which obviously wasn't true at the time, but it was just in my mind, in my imagination. And that just goes to show you how powerful your imagination is, and whatever you think and whatever you think about on a consistent basis, it does become your reality. So I just wanted to point that out. So I got to the park, and as I got to the park, I started practicing. Because mind you, I told myself I was a professional baseball player, getting ready for a championship game. So yeah, I was practicing, then I was done practicing, and then I just started walking around my neighborhood. Then I saw a blue car that I liked, and the reason I say I like it is because it was just the car that I always wanted to get. And so I tried to steal it. So in my mind, I'm I forgot my keys. So I went to the car, and I'm trying to get in the car, but I had convinced myself that was my car, and I just lost my keys. But at this point, I literally didn't know what I was doing. Everything was just, I wouldn't even say I would say an instinct, pretty much. Everything I've done to that point was just instinct. So when I got to the blue car, I was just telling myself, it's my car. And I wasn't actually telling myself this, it was just things that were happening. I thought it was my car. I tried to get in there and things like that. And I tried to get in. I couldn't get in. So I was like, you know what? I need to get somewhere, so let me take a taxi. But I didn't have any money. So I was just getting in a taxi, sleeping in the taxi. So I got in the taxi. I slept in the taxi for about 10-20 minutes. I took a nap or whatever. They came to knock on the door and tell me I can't take this taxi, gotta take another taxi. So there was a taxi actually behind that taxi that I went in, and in my mind, as my eyes are closed, I'm envisioning that the taxi's dropping me off at a Lamborghini shop to go pick up my car, my brand new car. So as my eyes are closed and I'm envisioning this, I'm in the taxi. I'm in the taxi envisioning all this going on. So I wake up, he knocks on the door, he wakes me up and says, you gotta get out, you gotta take this taxi. So I hop into another taxi and I do the same thing. And meanwhile, all this time I'm thinking to myself, I gotta get to the dealership to get my blue Lamborghini. So I get out and then I just start walking around. So then I'm like, okay, I gotta get my hair done. Cause you know, like right now I'm a little scruffy. So I'm like, you know, before I head into the dealership, I wanna look good. So let me go get my hair done. So I started walking around to find a barbershop. But I was actually looking for one specific barbershop that my friend owns. And yeah, I had never been in there yet. But you know, I was definitely looking because I didn't know the address. And I'm just like asking everybody, where's Nassau Street? Because that's actually what the address of I think it's 221 Nassau Street. By the way, it's called DBL 360. So if you do need a cut, do go there and get a cut. Highly advised. Definitely do that. But anyway, so I was looking for the shop. I'm like, I gotta get my hair done. I'm asking everybody, walking around, just asking everybody, where can I find this address? Where can I find this? Where can I find this address? Where can I find this address? And I'm just, you know, I finally was like, you know what? I'm gonna take the GPS, put on my GPS, and look for it myself. So I started walking around the neighborhood. Then I see one of my friends driving around. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get a ride. Maybe he might know where it is. So as I'm walking around, I'm like, I'm hearing a bunch of dogs and a bunch of animals, a bunch of dogs. I walk into a street and I just hear a bunch of dogs just barking and barking. I'm like, I stop. I'm like, wow, these dogs are really barking, but they don't sound like regular barks. They just sound as if like these dogs are fighting or whatever's going on. So I'm like, you know, let me stop for a second and find out what's going on. For some reason, I was just telling myself, this dog is in trouble, or like, you know, something's not right. So I'm following the dog's bark. But as I'm following the dog's bark, I'm still trying to catch my friend. So every street corner I turn on, I see him. And I'm just like, wow, I see him. Let me go chase him. Let me go chase him down and figure out I can still get the ride to the shop. Meanwhile, I'm still chasing the barks of this dog that I'm hearing or whatever. So then I hear the barks. I'm just like, I gotta find out what's going on. And as I'm walking, I see two guys in there. They're you know, on their porch. They're talking, having a conversation. And as I walk by, the guy says to his friend, "Oh man, this guy's walking around with so much rage. Look at him. He's walking around with a lot of rage." And like, I know he was talking to me because when I walked by, you know, he said, he looked at me and he said it, but I just kept walking. But I was just like, I had so much energy, like it was pulsating, it was radiating off of me. So, you know, it's just so much energy was pulsating, was just radiating through me. So I was just like, man, you know, this is an awesome feeling. But it just felt like the whole time I wasn't in control. It felt great, but it felt out of control. And so as I'm like looking for my friend and just like walking around, I'm like, okay, let me keep looking. You know, I missed my friend. I couldn't find him. So I'm like, you know what, let me keep looking for the address. Meanwhile, my GPS is on. I'm not even following my GPS, man. I'm just taken away by my environment. Whatever's going on, it's just like, you know, I'm just got my GPS on, I'm moving. So yeah, bugs, you know, I'm in the park right now, so there's like a bunch of bugs and stuff. But anyway, so as I'm moving And as I'm just like walking, trying to get to where I'm trying to get to, the shop, I walk into another street. I cross the bridge and walk into another street. And as I'm walking into the street, I walk into the street, and something just clicked where it was like, you know what? I feel like I have too much clothes on. You know, I took my shoes off, and I unbuttoned my shirt, took my shoes off, and I threw them out in the trash. So, and meanwhile, while this is going on, I have no clue. I mean, I remember everything now. It's just, at the time, everything was just happening. It wasn't no like conscious awareness or whatever. It was just happening. So as I walk into the street, I'm walking into the street, getting close to the shop, and you know, I look as I'm going up the street. I see a blue Chevy Camaro double S, which is actually a favorite car. Well, I can't say favorite. Well, yeah, one of the cars that I've have on my dream board or my vision board to get and stuff like that. So I see it. So once I see it, I'm like, okay, this is our car. This is the car that we've been looking for. This is our car. So when I get into the driveway, I see the car. Beautiful car. Nice, blue, clean, everything. I'm looking around, looking inside, trying to get in. And, after a while, the people didn't notice I was outside. So as I'm outside trying to get in the car, I'm trying to get in the car, and I get on top of the hood, and I'm like laying on there, just living like I'm just at peace, just staying like laying on top of the car, man. No worries in the world. Just laying on top of the car, man. Like, this is life. This is my car. I love it. So as I get down, as I'm like looking around, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to get in my car. I want to go somewhere. Let me get in. Since I have a car now, I don't have to walk to where I'm going. So I start looking for the keys. And I'm just like, wow, I have my duffel bag with me. I look in my bag. I can't find the keys. I knock on the door. And I'm like, where are my keys? Can you help me find my keys? And meanwhile, the owner is sitting in the car, like waving her hand. But as she's waving her hand, in my mind, it's telling me to take the car. But I'm like, where are the keys? I don't have the keys. I can't just leave. I don't know where the keys are. And this whole time, she's waving me off. She's waving me off. And, as she's waving me off, I'm trying to find my keys. Then I hear a voice call my name out. A loud voice just call my name out. So I just hear a loud voice call my name out. And I make my way to the back of the house. And the guy is there. The owner, the husband of the lady is there. And he's just standing there. And we have like a brief conversation. And he's like, okay, you don't know what's going on and stuff like that. He can't help me. Go to the next door house. Go to the next door neighbor's house and ask him for help. Because he's a police officer. I'm like, okay. So I go to the next door neighbor's house. And I tell him, I say, can you help me? I can't find my keys. They told me you're a police officer. Can you please help me find my keys? He's like, go away. Oh, that's the voice I hear. Go away, go away, go away. And as I'm hearing go away, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you're telling me go away, but you're a police officer. You're supposed to help me. And, that's what was happening at the time. And so, as that's going on, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just stay here for a bit and just figure it out. So as I'm laying there, I start meditating. I start just relaxing and meditating and doing, just sitting on their grass, just chilling. 5-10 minutes later, police show up. Police and ambulance show up, and they tell me, what's going on with me. What's going on with me. They found me meditating, because that's what they told me. They found me meditating. So I'm like, and I didn't get arrested, by the way. They just saw me, and then they asked me a couple of questions, and then they put me in the ambulance. And then when they put me in the ambulance, they started asking a bunch of questions. Who's the president? Yada, 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 all these questions to make sure that my mind is where it's supposed to be. So, I'm answering the questions and telling them, things like that. And they're asking me, she said, the police officer said, where's your mom, your dad, or what's going on? Do you have parents? And then I actually said to them, and this is no lie, like this is no joke. I literally told the police officer that my house burned down and I had no place to go. And so, as I told him that, they brought me into the ambulance and they brought me to the hospital. And mind you, this whole time I'm still in my state, or in my state of being, or whatever state of being I was in at the time. I was still in it. It lasted, a long time. So, as I'm getting asked these questions at the hospital, they're checking my blood pressure, the standard stuff, asking me my name, where I live, my phone number, things like that. So they take me into a basement. They make me, take all my chains off and stuff. Not chains, but I had like necklace on, I had like a watch. Yeah, I had like a watch and stuff like that. And I was also barefoot, so I had no shoes on. I had no shoes on at the time, because mind you, before I told you, I had threw my shoes out, or boots or whatever I had on. Threw them out. So I'm with socks on. So I get there, they give me an outfit to wear, and they tell me to, actually no, they give me an outfit to wear. So meanwhile, I have no clue what's going on at this point. I'm just like, okay, I don't even know why they put me here. I'm just here. I still at this point don't know why I'm here. I'm just here. And so I get into the basement, and once I get into the basement, I see all these like rooms, and like I see a big glass door office, with workers in there, whatever. And I go in there, and I see a bunch of other people in there. And it's like a little waiting area room where you watch TV, and just sit and wait for whatever, wait for the doctor to give you meds, or just do what they need to do. And then, see if you can go home that day, or if you gotta spend a couple days or a week in there. So the first time I went in, and I went in quite a lot. I went in a lot. So this is the first time. So I went in, and when I went in, I realized this was just like a holding cell, really. Not like a holding cell, actual holding cell, but it was where they had like certain patients and stuff like that. So I'm in there, and I'm just like, walking around, minding my business, whatever, doing what I'm doing. And I'm in there, and as I'm watching TV, like I'm just in there watching TV at this point. So, they got my information down, and at this point I'm watching TV. So as I'm watching TV, I get just very aggressive. Very, 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 very aggressive. And I actually, okay, I was watching the news. Yeah, I was watching the news. And for whatever reason, the news just got me like very upset, very angry. I don't remember what was going on at the time. What was on the news at that time. But it just got me very aggressive. I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to listen to this. They need to change the channel or do something, because I'm not listening to this. So what I do is I get into a football stance, and I run into the TV. Literally. I run into the TV as hard as I can multiple times until because the TV was mounted on a wall. But it wasn't as high, like, it was on the wall, but it wasn't high, so you could still reach it, or you could still like touch, like, you know, if you wanted to take it down, you could take it down. It wasn't as high. So I'm literally running into the TV, just like running into the TV, until the TV falls and it crashes and I break it and I pass out. And they're screaming, everybody's like screaming, yelling, "What the hell are you doing? What's going on? What are you doing? Why are you doing this?" And I'm just like trying to break the TV. I don't care about anything else. Just trying to break the TV. So the TV comes down, just crashing down. And I'm just like, and I passed out. So when I woke up, they had me strapped to like a bed. They had me strapped to a bed, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, like this guy's like very aggressive." And I could just feel all the energy, all the like hate and all the energy, just everything just pulsating through me, just like a lot of energy going through my body. And it just like burst. So as like they're strapping me in, and I'm just like screaming and yelling, like I don't want to take a shot. They're trying to give me like a shot or whatever. So they give me a shot, and as they give me the shot, I'm screaming and yelling, like I don't want to take no shot. I'm not taking no shot. What the hell are you guys doing? And so I'm just like very aggressive. So there's a young lady that came in. She's like, "Man, it's hot in here." But it's like at that point, I'm like, that's because in my head, I'm like, that's because of all the energy that I, you know, just let go. It was just like very aggressive. She walked in, she was like, "It's hot in here." So I'm like, I didn't say anything. I'm just like, you know, just sitting there, just laying down. Cause actually, no, she came in with the shot. Actually, that young lady came in with the shot. She came in, she was like, "Oh man, it's hot in here." So she had like a big needle, and then, you know, put my pants down or whatever, and she gave me a needle in the butt. And after that, I felt a little calm. I felt calm after that. I felt calm. And, you know, just felt calm. And so I just went about my business. You know, I stayed out the way. I didn't bother nobody. I was just walking around. I never slept. I never slept at all. I think the first day I was in there for like a couple days. But I didn't sleep for those couple days. And then they transferred me to the actual psych ward. That's when it really got crazy, man. I was like, wow, I'm really in here. I'm really in here. That's when it really got crazy for me. So that story, it was just, yeah, that was definitely an experience. So I went in there. So when I got transferred to the psych ward the first time, I got transferred. So when I got transferred upstairs to the psych ward from the basement, I think the first day, you know, like I said, they take your information down, they take your blood, your temperature, they give you a change of clothes. They take all your clothes and all your belongings and lock them up until you get out. So I'm in there, you know, they give you this uniform to wear for the remainder of the time you're in there. Well, that actually depends on you. So you could be in there for a couple of days, a week, 2 weeks, months even, depending on how you handle the situation and how you handle the environment. So I was only in there for a week the first time. So I'm in there, and I'm in there, you know, the doctor comes in and he starts asking me quite all these questions, like, you know, what's going on? Are you hearing voices? Are you hearing voices? You know, are you hallucinating? What's going on with you? So I'm like, you know, yeah, I'm hearing voices. I'm hallucinating. I'm hearing voices. You know, I can't sleep. All this shit is going on. You know, I'm hearing voices. I can't sleep. I'm just like so energetic. It's like a unlimited energy, and I'm just like, I'm so energetic. I can't sleep. I'm up 3 in the morning, sometimes 4, sometimes 3, sometimes 2. You know, I go outside, I meditate, I do all the things that, you know, up to that point kept me going. So once I got in there, he's asking a bunch of questions, Did you take any drug? Are you on crack? That's actually one of the questions that I remember he said to me was I on crack? But at the time I was vegan, so obviously if you're vegan, people who vegan eat certain foods. They don't eat meat or whatever and stuff like that. So pretty much I was healthy as can be. I was really healthy, man. I didn't drink alcohol. I didn't smoke weed at the time. Now I do, but I do now. But before I didn't. So no alcohol, no drugs, nothing like that. So I was clean, as clean as can be. And all this was going on. So when I got in there, once I got in there, he's asking me, the first question he asked me was, where are my parents and like what's going on? Am I hearing voices? Am I hallucinating? Things like that. And as I'm explaining to him what's going on, he's just like looking at me. He's just looking at me, I guess trying to figure out, a solution or whatever. So I'm like, okay. And then he asks me, he says, what's going on? Have you taken crack? Have you taken LSD? Have you taken any sort of drug? I'm like, no, I don't take drugs. At the time, I'm like, I don't take any drugs. So, he's asking me all these questions, and I'm just like, okay, I answer his question, and then, I go back to my room, and I remember actually telling him, actually I'm not gonna say it because yeah. But anyway, so he's asking me questions, so and I'm actually telling him, I did smoke weed and it was laced or whatever. And I think my weed was laced or with something or whatever. But then at the time it was good because I didn't smoke, so I don't know where that came from. So it just like my mind was just triggered to say that. So as I'm like talking to him, he's asking me questions and stuff. I'm just like, okay, all right, cool. I asked, like, he's asking me these questions. I'm like answering his questions, and then I'm like, all right, cool. So as he's done, I go back to my room, and the room I was in was with 3 people. There's 3 people. So I was in a room with 3 people, all the way at the end of the Psych ward, at the end of, right next to the cafeteria. So when I got in there, we didn't really say hi or whatever, what's up, anything like that. We didn't introduce ourselves or nothing like that. It was just, everybody was going about their business. Everybody was going about their business. And so, everybody was going about their business. And, I'm going about my business. I'm laying on my bed, sitting on my bed. I'm coloring. Just keep myself busy, occupied, because I know I was going to be there for a week. Oh, man, the bee is... the bee try to get me, man. But we ain't going to stop this video. We're not stopping this video. But, so, yeah. So, as I'm like, keeping myself occupied. I'm so paranoid right now. But to keep myself occupied, I'm coloring, I'm laying down, minding my business. So I walk in, as I'm in there, not walking, but as I'm in my room, the 2 guys that were in there, one guy was sleeping, and the other guy was just, out in the area doing whatever he was doing. So I see a pair of sneakers. I'm like, I came in with no shoes. I like his shoes. Let me go see what's that about. So I go try to take his shoes. I go try to take this guy's shoes. So as I'm looking, I pick up his shoes. As I'm looking, I'm like, looking at them. I try to wear them. I try to wear his shoes. So he comes in. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? Why do you have my shoes? And I'm like, I'm just looking at them. I like the shoes or whatever. But in my mind, I'm like, that's not what I was trying to do. I was trying